Good evening and welcome everybody. We are honored to have with us Dr. Krause, Boris from Germany. I would like to start by expressing my gratitude for the deep friendship we have, for your genuine interest and concern for Israel, and for your goodwill you have shown by spending time and lecturing to us. With your permission, I will switch to Hebrew and introduce you. ערב טוב לכולם, אני מזמינה אתכם לפתוח מצלמות. אנחנו בחול המועד של חג סוכות, ימים ספורים לפני שמחת תורה, היום שהפך להיות קשור לתמיד באסון הגדול בתולדות המדינה. כולנו יצאנו חבולים נפשית מאירוע טראומטי שאיים על תחושות הביטחון הבסיסיות ביותר שלנו. וחשוב שנכיר מה מתחולל בגופנו ובנפשנו בזמן טראומה, מנקודת מבט רוחנית. לכן הזמנו הערב את דוקטור קראוזה בוריס, פסיכיאטר ראשי במחלקה הפסיכוסומטית ב-Filderklink בגרמניה. דוקטור קראוזה הוא רופא אנתרופוסוף, מומחה בפסיכותרפיה ופסיכוסומטיה. הוא מטפל בטראומה ופוסט-טראומה, דיכאון, הפרעות חרדה, הפרעות אכילה, בגישה אנתרופוסופית. הוא יספר לנו הערב על היבטים של טראומה, מנקודת המבט האנתרופוסופית כמובן. אנחנו מזמינים אתכם להישאר עם מצלמות פתוחות ועם מיקרופונים סגורים, ואנחנו נשמח להתייחסות שלכם לקראת סוף ההרצאה. ככה שוחחתי עכשיו 10 דקות עם בוריס, והוא אמר שהוא ממש ישמח לדו שיח ביחד. אז נקווה לערב שקט ומועיל, ואם יש אזעקות אז כמובן קחו לכם את הזמן ללכת למקום מוגן, יש הקלטה. דוקטור קראוזה, the stage is yours. Please.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. It's a big honor for me to talk to you. But what can I tell you about trauma? You know, it's like, what can a German psychiatric doctor talk to Israeli people about trauma? But maybe I can contribute some anthroposophical point of views. So what trauma is, you already know, I know, but the special anthroposophical point of view and the special memory, how is built up this specific traumatic memory, we will talk about this evening. And maybe maybe it's helpful for you. You can tell me afterwards. And the first question is, what makes a bad experience turning into trauma? And it seems to be like a wrong way of digesting what you faced. There is a digesting of senses. And normally nobody talks about like this. And it seems that depends on the degree of the peritraumatic dissociation. And you know, dissociation, I don't know if everybody of you knows what dissociation is. Because I don't know, well, who is joining us now. It's not only psychotherapists, I think, not only doctors. You know, when something comes together, it's an association. When something is dividing or splitting in a way, it's dissociation. And there are different levels of dissociation we find in patients. And you can say there is the first level of dissociation is when your ego organization, your I organization, like goes out. You're not alert like normal. You're something like a little bit dreaming, and you can't well, you can't really get aware of what is going on. This is when I would say the eye organization or parts of the eye organization goes out. There are levels of astrality. You feel the senses in most time of your lower part of your body. You don't feel the feet touching the ground. You don't really sense, are the feet cold or warm? You don't know. Or you lose some other senses. You don't feel pain. Therefore, you have people cut themselves to make this dissociation coming to an end and getting off of this very uncomfortable state. So this would be the level of astral body. And in some cases, I think you can find it in your patients or students or wherever you work as well, if they watching themselves from above. Sometimes I ask the people, where are you now, my patients, where are you now? And they tell me, I'm under the ceiling watching us and our conversation. And they are like out of their body. And if you have something like this, is similar like a near to death experience, you know, you're going out of your body with an etherical part of you. And I think so. I don't know exactly. It's a part of the etheric of your heart. If it's out of your body, you see yourself from above. So you can say the little boy facing the violence from his father against his mother, dissociating and freezing, he will get the trauma disorder. And the one who runs to the neighbor and asking for help, he is active and he is not dissociated and he won't get it. You see? So you can say it depends on the degree of the so-called peritraumatic dissociation. This is very important. And we will be talking about this special condition. So the symptoms of PTSD, as you know, are these special kinds of memories we call intrusion. And it's connected with nightmares. You don't have to suffer from nightmares, but in most cases you do. And these intrusion is like you experiences once more. It's like it's happening now. It's not like an experience of past. It's like it never ends, you know? So what PTSD makes of you is that the past is still present. So it doesn't stop. And this is the most scaring and exhausting part of this disease. You can't say it stopped because you have these special kinds of memories inside of you. So it's like the enemy is sitting inside of you and you can't keep him outside of you. Okay? This is called intrusion. The other symptom is hyperarousal. It's you're always alert. You have to check every surroundings, every environment. Is there something dangerous for you or not? On the other side, you're feeling like numbness. You're very alert, but in the same time, you feel you're not aware of everything around. You avoid special trigger points. You don't want to have these intrusions, and you have these special triggers. I think I don't have to explain what a trigger is. I think all of you know this. And of course, you have all the symptoms of dissociation. And I just talked about a few parts of dissociation symptoms. There are lots of more. So, and what we are talking about this evening will be the digestion of sensation. And you know, if you digest food, you have to get rid of all the foreign physical, the foreign etheric, and the foreign astrality. So you don't want to become a carrot if you eat a carrot. And you don't want to become a pig or something. Therefore, you have to overcome all that's you take inside of you. And this is what digesting means. You have to build up your own etheric stream. And you incarnate from your upper part of your body. Your astrality and your eye organization has to incarnate in a clear stream of your own etheric substance. We will talk about later a little bit more. So, and this is what digesting means. And you have something like the same in trauma in the senses. You can't digest your environment and what you faced. So, and in this book, The Study of Man, it's the most important book for the teachers from Rudolf Steiner. I hope you know this very important book. He talked about these two parts of senses. Normally, you talk about senses with talking about perception. You think sensory means perception, but this is only one part. There is another part of your will. There is a part of will in your senses. And what does it mean? Well, if you have perception, it's like you have to keep yourself outside of it. It's it's a gesture of antipathy. And that is what your nerve organization, your nerve system is offering you. You see, there is something out of you, and you face what is coming in, and you need not to fall in sleep. You need a gesture of antipathy. You know, there is in all the astral body, where the senses are inside of, you have this two sides, sympathy and antipathy. And this part of your nerve system, this is due to antipathy. And the next steps will be an idea or a concept you're building off. But these are connected to your nerve system. And there's another part at the same time offered by your in a way, metabolic system, the will organization. And this is connected to your sympathy. You want to see something, and it's your attention. And as you all know, you see what you want to see. And it's a question of attention. And this is connected to your will organization. And this is not your nerve. This is your blood. And what is liberated out of your blood, the etherization of blood. I don't know if it's right in English. And the next step wouldn't be a concept or idea. This would be fantasy or imagination in the understanding of Rudolf Steiner. So imagination, well, there is a translation problem. Normally, you translate imagination in terms of nerve. Like it's in German, it's Vorstellung. It's like, well, it's imagination. But in the imagination, what Steiner is talking about, he talks about the inner process you bring to the things outside. You are like, it's a touching from inside, and you see it's a will process. You don't get a picture of it. You get a picture of your willing activity. You are building up something. And this is a very creative process. And you need this not to dissociate. You see, if you dissociate this part, the lower part, the will part, is the first thing that dissociate. This is very important because this nerve part is always, well, doing his job. So you get eyes like this and everything comes in, but nothing, your will, your intention, your attention, it's not possible. Then this is very important for understanding the process of digestion. So we have a look like this. Something is coming inside of you. This is the impression of perception. And this in the red color, this arrow, is the sign for your will activity. Okay? As long as the impression keeps going on, like you're listening to a bell, for example, the sense is inside your astral body. And soul begins in this moment, you make something out of it inside of you. So with the astral body, you're joining the part of the world. And if you enter the space of soul, is something only for you. And this is the point memory begins. So the part of the soul that is very close to the senses, that is called sentient soul, as you maybe know. Well, these are very basic anthroposophical concepts, but I think it's helpful. So, and you need some activity of your eye organization that is shown by these little arrows. And if you enter the next part of your soul, like rational soul, you need more activity of your eye organization. And the eye organization always is connected with the will part of you. So the astral body is connected with the perception, and the eye organization is connected with your will activity within your senses. Okay? So, and what does it mean, rational soul? I give an example. Maybe you have a sort of, well, what do you eat in Israel? I don't know. In Germany, we like apples, you know. Maybe you have apples. I hope so. I hope so. And maybe you have the sort of apple you love the most. Can you imagine? So, and just plug it fresh from the tree. No apple has this flavor you buy in the shop. It has to be plucked from the tree, fresh, you know. And now you bite and taste how wonderful your apple is. Okay, can you imagine? And this experience is within your sentient soul. Okay, this is your memory, because you all know your best apple. And this is sentient, so very close to perception and to the outer world of senses. And now just imagine we are entering now rational soul. Imagine you have 5 apples and take away apples. Just take 5. Okay, it's reduction of senses. It's just you only have the number. This is rational soul. Okay, rational soul is very clear, and there is no fight between the people in rational soul. You see, so you can see in mathematics, for example, 3 plus 3 is 6, okay? This is rational soul. This is okay. There is no fight about it. But, you know, what would be 3 plus 3 in sentient soul? I give an example, you know? Sentient soul. You say 3. Do you remember that I always had to play alone when the 2 of you were together? I was my whole kindhood, I was alone. There is no 3. There is only 2. There is no existence of 3 because I was always alone. There is only existence of 2. So 3 plus 3 means 4. Okay? This is mathematics in sentient soul. And you say, okay, I know, I can imagine what you mean, but there's a loss of, how to say in English, reality. You can't share this. You have to explain this. And this is what sentient soul made of us. There is another step. The step, hopefully we get it. Our consciousness soul. We will come to this point. What does it mean, especially in terms of memory? So now look at what is happening in your etheric body when something from these special points like astral body, sentient soul, or rational soul make an imprint to your etheric body. That means make an imprint to your memory. Your etheric body together with the physical body makes like the ground your soul make an imprint in to have memories. Okay, if there is a lack of digestion at this point, if the things directly from astral body comes down to your etheric, there is no digestion. Therefore, you find something. Do you see the cursor on the screen? When I move the cursor, okay. So this is like a foreign body in the stream of your etheric, in the stream of your memory. You have like a foreign body, no digestion. And if you bring it up again, if you remember this foreign body, you will feel like presence. You will feel like it's still inside of the astral body, like in a fresh imprint. You see, this is there is no really digestion in. If you see like this, there's the nerve system and the metabolic system. I made this drawing. It's not very well. It's like I draw, okay? And the impression comes down, and it should be digest it, but there is no digestion. It overwhelms the middle. So you know, this is the neurasthenic position. I don't know if you know about this polarity of neurasthenia and hysteria. I hope so. I hope a few doctors are in this Zoom. And this is the typical gesture of neurasthenia. Neurasthenia, I don't know the word. So it's overwhelming the middle. And normally there is like a scale of your heart. This part of the scale is for your upper stream, and this part is for the lower stream. Okay? From your metabolic. And there should be something like a balance. And it's like the sense of your heart, but it's in case of trauma, it's like a breakthrough. There is no balance offered by your heart. It's just an imprint in your lower body. Okay? So, and there are other ways of building up your memories. Sentient soul. Sentient soul. There is still a little foreign body, like I gave the example for you. And what does it mean in life? It's why haven't I been able to digest some parts of my history? And what does it mean to have memories in sentient soul? I gave this apple or this 3 + 3 example. There is another point here in rational soul. You have like normal, so-called normal memory. So you overcame the world of senses. You digested up to an end in your rational soul. So there is no fight between the men. But an example is, if I give you another example, okay, for memory in your sentence. So you know, I take Nurit, okay? Nurit, I see you on the screen. I see you on the screen, and I know we are now in the Zoom with the Israel people, but you know, when I see you, I feel like mother. Okay? I actually don't. Don't be afraid. I don't. But if I see you, and you would say, Boris, I think it's not right. I am not your mother, and you're treating me wrong. Okay? And I have to say, well, that's right. I think I'm in transference. I'm in a mother transference, you know? I didn't overcome some parts, some experience with my mother, but I never transfer thoughts. I always transfer feelings, emotions, or situations from the past. But it's not a part of rational soul. It's only this part of what, like the apple, you know, the special apple of my mother, and I didn't overcome it. Okay. So this would be an example for memory in your sentence. So you have, if there is a lack of your will organization in senses, in the first dramatic part, you have trauma, like big foreign body inside the stream, a little trauma, but without flashback, but only overwhelming feelings, this transference. And in rational soul, it's like, okay, it's memory and no question, okay? So you see what the nerve part comes to an end in rational soul. You are like reflecting outer world, okay? And there is more and more the blood part due to this will activity. You see the red arrows, okay? This is like it's like only a picture, okay? We don't have real blood, but it's a metamorphosis of blood, okay? This is very important. So we are, it's like the nerve activity is coming to an end. It's therefore I made this cross for death. So we are Christians, you know, we always have these crosses in our culture. And there's the sign of Saturn. This is a Saturn process because something, light goes out and it's coming to a death point. This is very important. You bring the world of senses to an end inside of you, and this is what rational soul makes inside of you. And what does it? What could mean? What could mean memory in the consciousness soul? Maybe you can think a few seconds about this, because memory already has been done in rational soul. What could mean memory in consciousness soul? The outer world you overcome here, okay? And what is going on now? And it's like you look at the other side. There is world of spirit, and there's the world of senses. I hope we have world of spirit, you see. And what happens if you open your eye to the spirit? The first exercise Rudolf Steiner gave in the book How to Get Knowledge of Higher Worlds, I think. Is it in English? Higher Worlds. The first exercise is this special memory exercise. The evening, how to, the reflection in the evening. I don't know. The reflection exercise, maybe in English. Okay. And in the first part of this exercise, you go through all the experience of the day, but the other way around, from behind to begin, okay? But afterwards, you ask yourself, what has been important? And nobody will tell you. This is the question to the world of spirit. And you don't remember, not only remember the outer part of world of senses, you remember your activity. So if you walked along the streets, you have to, in the memory, in the reflection exercise, you have to walk backwards every step. Not too long, well, it would take hours. You don't make it too long. 5 minutes, up to 10 minutes, it's okay. Not hours, okay? So, but you have to go backwards and you have to remember your activity. And your activity is a part of spiritual work. It's like you're standing not on your nerve, you're standing on your blood. This is important. You are on this point, and this is where imagination begins. So imagination, you can't remember in terms of rational soul, your imagination. You only have the chance to do it again, to make it new. A real imagination in the understanding of Rudolf Steiner, you can't remember. But we have to exercise, okay? And this is something this is something like a remedy, for PTSD patients. If you understand this point, you have to, if the world of senses are destroyed and you don't find a safe point in your life, you have to plug in heaven. And this is, and not only in Israel, but maybe for you it's a special living condition. But I have so many patients. I ask them, we do this exercise, the safe, the safe place. I think you know this exercise. It's called an imagination exercise, but actually it's also an imagination exercise in the understanding of Rudolf Steiner, because you are creating something, and if you don't find it on earth, you just ask your fantasy, and you are building up something, and this is very important. It's like a remedy against trauma. Maybe one, well, do I have enough time? Well, in former times, well, just a few minutes. In former times, we had, when the guys came from Atlantis to the first Indian epoch, you know, they didn't really have memories, and they had to build up little signs, like, how do you call it in English? My English is not the best one, you know. Like, to remember, they had to something to build little signs on the wall, or something, megalith or something, just to remember what happened. Do you know the culture of megaliths? I think they didn't remember actually, or they draw all the things, how they killed the mammoth, the big elephant, and they had to draw it on the walls of their caves, you know. And I think they had to draw it because they didn't remember like we do now, but they had to build up little signs in the outer world just to help the memory. And this is what called local memory. And in a way, it's very similar to have triggers in trauma or local memory. And this, in sentient soul, you have this rhythmic memory. Rhythmic memories, it may be, I don't know if you have it in your culture, but in some African culture or the ancient Greek, they had all the big epos, you know, and they sang in rhythm all the what Odysseus also what they did and how they and you could, but you couldn't ask them for, could you please start at the third book on verse 506? It wouldn't have been possible, because rational soul hasn't been born, you know. It was only sentient soul, and they was like singing and telling all the old stories in the evening on the fireplace, you see. This was in the times of ancient Greek, and before ancient Greek was Egypt. And the rational soul starts with the ancient Greek, 750 before Christ. And it was possible to ask maybe the questions, what did you have for dinner the day before yesterday? Okay, if we can ask ourselves, what was my dinner 2 days ago? And this was very, very difficult for ancient times. Okay, so we have something. Well, I draw it because this is something like light ether. This is something like sound ether, and this has something to do with living ether. But this is another chapter. Maybe we will talk about another another lecture, okay? We go on. Local rhythmic and chronological memory. Okay. So why is this stream of will so important? Because in this stream of will, we build up our body. It's unbelievable, but we build our body with the pictures of our etheric body. So there are, well, and this is a part of, this is a will action. There are three levels of will, if you want to say. It's like if I take this glass of water and drink a little bit, it's an action of will, you see. It's like with an object. I have an object and do something with it, okay? This is the first part of will. The second part of will is I do meditation. I keep my thought lying on a content of a sentence, maybe the content I am. And I'm experiencing what is going on. Some processes going on between me and the sentence and my action. This is like a more dreaming process of will. The first process, when I have an object, this glass of water, it's my imagine of my will, and what is going on actually it's completely unconscious. In the middle part of my will, it's meditation. There's very strong will activity, keeping my other thoughts outside, but with no object. It's keeping my soul clean from other influences and let it happen. Okay? This is what meditation is. And the third part of will is willing to see, building up my eyes, wanting to move, building muscles, willing or wanting to live, to incarnate, completely unconscious, but a kind of will. A kind of will building up my body is like how to call in English. It's like building up body will. Something like this, you know, but this is a will. And actually the movement of my eyes, what I want to see in a karmic way of if to look at it at the karmic point of view, I build up my eyes to see you now in this evening. Not only, but also. So, you know, I came to Earth to meet some people. And if you take away this part of me, it's not only dissociation and like the position of trauma, you destroy my body. If I can't suck on this stream, there is no nutrition for my body, because I have to be in touch with this stream where I draw this lovely star here. You see this lovely yellow star, and that's me. This is me from my higher I, and I have to build up my body to be able to face something from outside. And I have to digest what is coming from outside. But I only can digest if I'm in connection with this stream. This is very important because psychotherapy has a lot to do with digestion and, well, trying to have a healthy life, how to keep healthy. Well, and it's not so easy, as you know better than me. And there are other wills I struggle with. You know, it's not only my will letting me look like this. Maybe I study medicine, becoming a doctor, and after 20 years, I have to recognize it was the will of my mother. And it was not my way. You see? And these different kinds of will can be influenced from different points, you see? Okay. And you know, well, we don't look at this. These are the 7 levels of will, you know, from this book. Well, I could contribute something from the lower part of the body. Should I think I bring this. Maybe this is very, well, hard to understand for teachers. I don't know what professions in your community are in. The doctors know this. You have these 4 main organs inside of you, and this is like the lemniscate, the lower part of lemniscate, you know. And you have your lung, your kidneys, your liver, and your heart, and every organ gives a contribution to your etheric stream. And your etheric stream should be in connection to your star. Okay? But there are different possibilities of getting ill. And what happens if the kidneys are not able to do their work? And if the lungs aren't able to do their job in this quartet, or the liver, I told you, you have to overcome your nutrition, and you have something like a matrix. You have something like a matrix, and then you have to give this stream of your etheric your own. You etherize it by your lungs. It brings you down to earth, but also give it a living activity by the oxygen. Oxygen makes the connections to the earth. Imagine you are a metal and you get too much oxygen. For example, you are iron, okay, and you get too much oxygen, you become like dirty. I don't know the word in English, but you lose your cosmic form, okay? So the lung is bringing you down to earth. This is very important for your etheric stream. And the kidney, you incarnate your astrality over the kidneys. It's like you give the soul aspects to your etheric stream over the kidneys. In the morning, before you wake up, kidneys start working. 1 hour, 1.5 an hour, there's a production of urine through the kidneys before you wake up. Okay, this is the first part is of making your etheric stream your own by the lungs. The next part is the kidney. The next part is you you give it a spiritual aspect or an aspect of your eye organization by the liver. The liver is the warmest organ, and 40 degrees, 41 degrees inside of the liver. And then you have like a substance coming to your heart and opening to your upper man. So you have the 4 elements, these other aspects we run through. So, and now we look at your lemnis cut. You made this run, okay, and you came to this point of heart. Here you have, okay, you have the organs. This was this level. You set free in the heart, in the liberation of your etheric, and then you get influenced by the perception. And well, I don't want to bore you with too much medicine. You can read it in the books of Rudolf Steiner. It's like stored in the epiphysis and hypophysis, and building up memories. There's an action between these points, and the question is how to get the experiences from upper man down to your etheric stream of your lower man. Yeah, experiences have to become body. So something happens between your epiphysis and hypophysis and comes down through your heart, but you only can digest if you are not dissociated. If you are dissociated, you have no chance to digest it. You don't get it through your heart, and it's like the breakthrough I showed you before. It's like foreign bodies living in your organs, living in your physical body, and making feeling you estranged. You are not like at home inside of you. You are living together with your own enemy, and you are poisoned by what you experience. And we all need to overcome the beast inside of us, trying to be in touch with the angel inside of us, keeping our uprightness, like this guy here standing on the beast. And we all are standing on our own beasts. Well, we have a lot of beasts inside of us. We are not only victims, we are also perpetrators every day, not only in your country, me and all. I think it's all of us. So thank you for your attention. I'm 5 minutes too fast, but maybe so we can have some discussion or question now. And I hope I didn't bring too much new stuff for you. Well, we will see.
Shall we move the
Yes, I do this escape. I take it away. Oops. So can you share the?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay. Okay.
Anyone have a question or something to say? You can also say it in Hebrew and we'll translate it. Or if you want to say it in English. Udi, I can see you raise your hand, so please.
Thank you for your lecture. My question is, you started with the ego organization. you went on to the three parts or the three aspects of the soul, and considering the ego and the ego organization, these are two terms that Steiner uses them in different ways. First question is, what is the difference between ego organization and ego? And the second question is, what is the impact, or what happens while a dissociation takes place? Which part of the ego is involved in dissociation, post-traumatic dissociation?
This is very, very important question, but not easy to answer. Well, as far as I understood Rudolf Steiner, ego organization is like a body. It's an organization. You have an astral organization, that's your astral body. There is something, so a body means there is a form-giving aspect inside of us. You have like an imprint inside of you, three other bodies of you ego organizations, or of your ego, and that makes an ego organization. There is something like a body aspect inside of you, and the ego is the spiritual being building up the ego organization. So this is, if somebody can explain it in a better way, please don't hesitate. But the second part of the question is not easy, because I don't see this. I just see the reflections in my patients and inside of me, and it seems to be that the first part that is shocked out is the ego as a spiritual being, and you don't have attention and intention. You don't have intention, and you're just scared. And there is, well, this changes your body situation. And if you are outside of your body, you always lose as well ego organization, because you don't have imprints. The ego organization is like an imprint of your spiritual being, of your ego, I would say. I don't know if it answers your question.
Udi, you are muted.
Is from that point of view, is a traumatization also to a certain extent a kind of a dehumanization?
A dehumanization?
Dehumanization.
Yeah, yes, it is. If it's going on for a long time, especially if you have a traumatization over years. I have patients the whole childhood and was sexual abuse, and it's not easy. You have so many foreign bodies living inside of you. You don't know who you are. Well, you don't lose your humanity, of course, but you have a lot of foreign bodies, and it's a long way to overcome it.
Thank you.
Can I ask something? Can you say something about the therapeutic process of this undissolved or undigested bodies that is in the stream? If you can say something about the process.
Yes. well, there are a lot of psychotherapeutical ways to help PTSD patients. Well, the thing I wanted to point out is to have a look at the etheric constitution of the patients. If you are able to build up or to improve your etheric constitution, you do a lot for your health. And often it is forgotten by the psychotherapist, because we are talking about life events, but there's a lot you can do if you try to stay healthy. I think you always treat. If you want to treat, you have to start at the point you are still healthy. You don't directly jump into your wound. You have to look for the point where is your humanity? Where are you still alive? And you try to find the point where are you still lively and healthy, and you have to make it bigger and bigger. And this has a lot to do with the etheric body. You start treating from the point you are already or still healthy, and you can do something for your organs as well. And if you work psychotherapeutically, you also start with the point you feel safe. You feel you're building imagination, your safe place, and where are you yourself, and you feel secure. And from this point, you feel in your heart that your heart can keep the balance between upper man and lower man. You feel like I'm the director of myself. This is very important.
My name is Slomit. If I may ask something.
Yes, of course.
Yes, I'm from Kibbutz Harduf, and we have here an initiative for mentally sick people. And we have this condition, as we have anthroposophical studenia. How do you say in English? I forgot. Okay, you understand?
Of course.
We have a seminar for anthroposophy here. And we have sometimes people who finish like 2 or 3 years overcoming their mental sickness, and they want to join our anthroposophical year. And we had in the past one of them, which was a very special woman, really so well, very, very special in terms of thinking, and very deep and very artistic and so on. But she had a trauma, a sexual abuse trauma. And in Hiram, in her community, they supported her to come to join us in the anthroposophical learning, but they suggested her not to open up her trauma, but to build her, to build the new life, yes? But she insisted to do both. And she started to study with us, and it was very nice. But then after 2 or 3 months, she opened her trauma, and it broke her completely. And unfortunately, she left Harduf and she left everything, and now she's not alive anymore because she suicided after some years. And could you say, if it's possible to say, how can you recognize this point of supporting someone to open the trauma or helping him to prevent himself not to do it? Yes.
For me, it's always a question, to whom do you open? If you live together with other participants and other students of Harduf, it could be maybe too much for them, and you destroy your community because they can't stand it. If you open it to your psychotherapist at a special point, is something completely different. It's not only to the question of to open or not to open, but who is able to get along with. If you open too early to somebody you want to live with, could be dangerous. And so it's not easy to answer in general, because well, I always talk to my I'm working in a hospital, you know, I have a lot of trauma patients, and I ask them not to open to other patients. We have groups and we can talk about how to stay healthy and things like this in the groups. But we open trauma in our special trauma sessions. And you have to provide special rooms for people like this.
Yes, but what she did, it was not within the group. She did it separately with her own psychologist or whoever was there, I don't know.
Okay.
But she did the two parallel, and because she really wanted to deal with her trauma, but she also wanted to open her life to anthroposophy and to studying and to other people. And the people who knew her, I mean, the staff in the community of Hiram who supported her, they recommended her not to do it, but as it was her own will, she did it. But so I asked myself, could we see it before and help her to stop it before? I don't know.
Well,
what is the sign? What would you say is the sign?
I can't say. It's so personal, you know, and sometimes you can't stop it. So when it's open, and you can't close it. In many cases, it's just like it is, and you have to get along with it. We have other psychotherapists, maybe you can answer as well. Sometimes it's just opened, and you have to deal with it. And some people suicide themselves. Yes, they do.
Maybe it's a question who was there inside her when she was speaking about it. If it was her that were there, or something else, or someone else, other entity.
But you are pointing a new things with your answer that I'm asking. The digesting process can be done through the other person, not only by myself.
Yes, I can help in digesting, keeping it a long time in my upper man, and keep and share it. I can share my experience, and there's a very important point. We have not only when we live together with other people, we have common etherical body. We are building up slowly, like what we count bounding. But actually, from a substantial point of view, it's common etherical body, and we can improve our bodies or Gestalt we are sharing with different people. Do you know about this common etherical body? You are talking about this in your community? This is very important. This is the reason why some owners of dogs are looking like their dog, you know? And you can share the etherical body with your pet as well. So and sometimes you think about a friend, and in this moment he's calling you, and something is going on there. There is like you're sharing the same substance, and this is very important. And you can help people digesting things. And we digest a lot. And I don't know how we do it. Sometimes I think our angels are helping us over how can you stay alive after 30 years psychotherapy. Well, and there are what we call secondary traumatization. And I think this must be something in your country very, very dangerous, because the stories are so heavy.
Yeah, right. Well, Boris, thank you so much. Really, it was inspiring and interesting, and thank you for your goodwill and your willing to have you here.
Thank you for your invitation, and I see different faces on my screen, very little one. So maybe we will meet again someday.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Have a good time.
Thank you.
Yeah, healthy.